And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Swag.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight for race 1 here in the fall season. These guys driving the M8 GTE machines for 10 races here in the fall season. And we are kicking things off from Le Mans here tonight, 8.47 mile course with 38 turns. And this is going to be a 40-minute endurance race here tonight. Good to see so many familiar faces back out here this evening and racing with us once again. And we do want to thank you for joining us here on V-Speed for tonight's presentation. We are live on YouTube and Facebook tonight, so you can check us out on either of those platforms as we take a look here. Jonathan DeKusher, just a little run through the grass right there. Brian Kennedy currently quickest in the qualifying session, which will wrap up in just over 2 minutes. It's so good to be back with these guys. A lot of very skilled road racers. A lot of these guys members of the BMW Car Club of America and participate in real-world track events and amateur racing. Some of them are instructors for the BMW Car Club of America as well. So a lot of talent in this league, and that'll be on display here tonight from one of the most difficult tracks and most renowned tracks in all of the world, really. And so excited to get things kicked off once again here this evening. And make sure to tell your friends and race fans that you might know to come on out and watch these events each and every week. We're live here on Thursday nights starting at 8:15 p.m. for most of the next 10 weeks. So tune in if you want to catch some BMW road racing action. We do want to thank you for tuning in. Thank the sponsors tonight, SEO, Mike, and Beltway Brewing Company. A couple of those you'll hear from at the halfway break in tonight's event, and you can also check them out in the video description. The links for both of those companies down in there. As we will now check out the qualifying ticker, see how these guys are doing out here with just about 45 seconds left. Pull up the ticker there. It looks like Darren Treacle has jumped to the top of the charts with a 3:49.396. That is how long it takes to get around this racetrack. We will have the track map down in the bottom right for you here this evening, so you can see the blue car. That'll be the one that we have the camera on. It's going to be shown there on the track map, and I know it's going to be a little bit small. It's a very big course. Good size field tonight, right around 20 drivers. Nice to see guys returning after a summer break. Should be a fun one here tonight. Take a look at the track conditions as well. 65-degree air temp, 85-degree track temp, so not going to be too hot. But these cars very, very powerful, and they will be struggling for grip at some points, I'm sure, during the 40-minute race. As it looks like we've got a little bit of runoff time here in the qualifying session as drivers try and get a better lap. Adam Pohl on the racetrack right now. Michael Pavolano as well, out there trying to improve his lap time. Looks like he might be coming through the final set of corners here. That is not the case. See who else is on track. Looks like Matthew Stover, who does not have a lap time in yet. He's going to try and complete a lap. And as soon as all of them do cross the stripe here, that's going to be it for the qualifying session. Here comes Stover as he works off of the Mulsanne straight. It's still quite a ways to go for him. Get back to that start-finish line. But it looks like Darren Treacle should be your tentative pole sitter, but Michael Popolano, he's got a pretty good lap going right here as well as Adam Pohl. Both drivers trying to move up on the starting grid. And I'm not sure if they've carried over the rule from last season where they had a field invert from qualifying, but top 15 drivers do earn points in qualifying as well as in the race. There will be a few guys not earning points tonight. Dover works through the gears here, trying to get up to speed. Currently cruising over 140 miles an hour as you see him here. The clock continues to tick down here in the qualifying session. Only a handful of corners more for the 54. As he heads back towards the front stretch, you'll see all of the infrastructure on this part of the racetrack. Not really too much elsewhere around this course. He works through the final corner here. Going to head back towards the stripe. We'll see what kind of a lap time he's able to put in. 3:59.22, which is going to be about 10 seconds off, but he'll have a lap time in. And now a little bit more experience on the racetrack. Looks like I think Michael Popolano might be just the last one cruising around to try and complete his lap. Currently scored in 6th. This Adam Pohl looks like he was not able to improve. Make sure to cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for here this evening. And make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video if you do enjoy the broadcast here tonight. We would really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. Just 2 minutes left in qualifying, and Popolano, the last driver on the racetrack, along with Matthew Stover. Stover's next lap will not count. He probably won't get back to the stripe in time, as here comes Popolano. Working through the final couple of corners. We'll see if he can get a good run out of there and not get an off track. Across the stripe, 3:50.648, which will not improve his position on the starting grid. I think that should pretty much wrap up qualifying here. Just 1 minute and 20 seconds remain, so we are going to cut to a quick commercial, and we will be right back. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
A punch for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it all.
We're pulling up the starting grid here tonight in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. It looks like Darren Treacle will be the first pole sitter of the season, and Brian Kennedy, last season's champion, going to be rolling off from the second spot. So nice job by those drivers. Good lap times, only a couple of tenths separating the two of them. Rolling off from row number 2, it'll be Jonathan DeCoucher alongside Steve Ficacci making a return to the series. Good to see him back, one of the top competitors couple of seasons ago. Adam Pohl will roll off from the 5th position. Michael Pavlano starts from the 6th spot. 7th will be Dean Tulane. Aaron Dietrich rolls off from the 8th position. 9th will be Peter Lanick, and Aspen Belvin rounds out the top 10 here tonight. Scott Kim rolls off 11th. Colin Kortnick starting in the 12th position. 13th will be Matthew Gazenda. 14th, Jesse Brannon. 15th, Perry Duncan. 16th, Callan Crocker. 17th will be Justin Craig. Mike Nickum rolls off 18th. Nick Owen 19th. And Matthew Stover will round out the field of 20 here tonight in the opening race of the season. Great to have all of these guys here tonight. We are so looking forward to an exciting event. Make sure follow along throughout the season to see how these guys fight for the championship. It was very competitive last season with the format and the field inverts and all the things that they did. And I think we could see just as competitive of a season here this fall. Cheers for Clint. From Frito Sport, as well as Gazenda and Mike Nickum. And everybody at Gasburn from Yakov Bielek there in chat. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. Hope you enjoy the broadcast. And appreciate you tuning in here. If I know football season has started here tonight. I am a Buffalo Bills fan, so very excited to get to watching that game once the race is over here. But excited to get this action off and underway for the first race of the season. 40-minute endurance event here tonight to kick things off. It will be Darren Treacle and Brian Kennedy out in front. Treacle with control of the field. They're working through the final few corners of the racetrack here before we get things completely underway. The pace car pulling them through here. You can see these guys dragging the brakes a little bit, trying to get their tires warmed up in just the short amount of time that they can. Such a challenging, difficult racetrack. And these guys, their mettle is going to be tested here tonight. And these race cars could take a bit of a beating if they don't have this place just down pat. Here we go. Pace car makes its way onto the pit lane. Darren Treacle leads them through the final corner. In towards the restart zone, and here we go. Oh, and car's already spinning. That is a Team Gasburn machine. Looks like Peter Lanick around. He's going to get it pointed back in the right direction. Already chaos back there in the back of the field, but Darren Treacle, your race leader, going to lead him down into turn number 1. And alongside him, though, there's Brian Kennedy trying to fight to driver's left. They both get a big bobble there. Ficacci, big slide. I know the cold tires definitely a factor here, but everybody survives those first few turns. Aspen Belvin losing quite a few spots. He falls to 11th now. Matthew Gazenda also drops back a couple. But out in front, Brian Kennedy's taking the top spot, trying to get those tires heated up. Treacle falls to 3rd. Ficacci behind him. We're off and away here in the first race of the season. Brian Kennedy out in front by about 3/4 of a second. Treacle takes 2nd position away. Draft is going to be huge on this part of the racetrack. Slowing down is Aspen Belvin. He may have gotten a course cutting or off-track penalty, but he's going to fall all the way back to 19th. Peter Lanick, the only one behind him, and he might just even catch the number 3. But Brian Kennedy out in front. Did we just have some contact? Ooh, we got a slow car back there. That may be Nick Owen. What just happened with him? Oh, sorry, that is someone else. Jesse Brandon, possibly? Justin Craig? Trying to see who that was. Oh, I think it might have just been some blinking issues. Around went the 333 though just now, and the field goes to avoid. So a lot of chaos here at Le Mans. This big racetrack, it's going to be hard to keep track of every single race car out here, but out in front, Kennedy takes out the cone. He will lead the field here onto this short stretch off of the Mulsanne straight. We look out the back bumper. It's going to be Darren Treacle less than a half second behind by the end of this straight. And then Ficacci 1 second back. Adam Pohl also up in the mix. The familiar faces out in front here already. Michael Pabolano, race winner in this league before. Then Dean Tooley and Jonathan DeCoucher, they'll race it side by side. DeCoucher trying to take the 6th position away. Looks like he will do that. Further up here into the braking zone. Everybody nice and orderly amongst the top 5. They are starting to pull away from the next group. Scott Kim up in the top 10. Nice run for him so far, up 3 positions. We're going to make an adjustment with that track map there so that that fits a little bit more nicely. And sorry about that, Yakov. I believe I heard about that with, I believe it was a crash in one of the track day events. So I'm sorry about that. Hope you get back in action here and hope to see you on track. As it looks like Mike Nickham with problems here, the 57. What happened with him? He went to avoid. That was Justin Craig with problems. Looks like all still running out here except for Perry Duncan, who is taking it behind the wall for the moment. And Brian Kennedy will lead them across the stripe here for lap number 1. Darren Treacle behind him. And then it is Steve Ficacci, the top 3 at the moment. Scott Kim losing some ground. He'll lose a spot to Dean Tooley. And Callan Crocker starting to march forward up 9 positions. So good start for the number 3 of Callan Crocker. Biggest mover so far. Could end up driver of the day with this kind of progress. Scott Kim also a good mover here, up 2 positions. Nick Owen up 8 spots. Matthew Stover up 6 positions as he is battling with Peter Lanik up at this part of the racetrack. Out in front, battle for second is on. Battle for second is over. Darren Treacle with some problems here. He's losing ground, falls to 5th. And here comes DeCoucher, going to try and take that spot away. He'll drive right on by. But possibly Treacle spinning the tires there or getting a little bit off track. He will fall back to the 6th position. Brian Kennedy out in front. Steve Ficacci trying to catch up, but 1.5 seconds. It'll be difficult to get out of the draft for Brian Kennedy. I mean, these guys still feeling a little bit of that effect. They gained about a 10th on this long straightaway, hitting about 180 miles an hour by the time they get to the braking zone here. In the field, pretty well spread out. Colin Kortnick 19th, over 1 minute behind as the leaders race by here. The second section of the Mulsanne straight headed towards the corner here at the end of that. And it will be Brian Kennedy by 1.4 seconds streaking through. Ficacci second, Adam Pohl third, Michael Pabolano fourth, DeCoucher and Treacle, the top 6, have separated themselves entirely. Callan Crocker doing what he can. He's got about 4 seconds to go to catch up to Darren Treacle. You can see that's the difference right there. And car goes wide back there. That is Aaron Dietrich. Aspen Belvin hard on the brakes, nearly lost it. Nick Owen, Aspen Belvin, Peter Lanik, Matthew Stover, Justin Craig all on your screen right there. Justin Craig goes a little wide through that corner. He goes off into the sand. Gap starting to shrink out in front. Brian Kennedy lost about 0.2 of a second as Ficacci using that draft and not battling with anybody quite at the moment. Adam Pohl about 4 or 5 car lengths back here. On the helmet cam. And just tell that sensation of speed, the bumps on this racetrack. Ficacci goes a little wide there. Pohl trying to get a little cleaner. Look at the run he's got right here. Adam Pohl back once again, nearly got the championship at the end of last season. Just a handful of points separating him from getting that. And there will be pit stops here tonight. I believe they're going to have to pit right around the halfway mark. So that is going to be a make or break situation in this race potentially. As Michael Pavolano. Oh, and around goes Adam Pohl. And I just commentator cursed him, I think. Back and see what happened. I think just lost it getting back on the throttle here. Oh, just under braking way over the curb too. And oh, he gets hit by Pavolano, who's going to lose third position now to Jonathan DeCoucher. And he's got damage on the nose here on this very aerodynamic dependent track. We'll see how he can deal with that, but back to fourth position now. Darren Treacle trying to take advantage of that damage as they set up for the Mulsanne straight here. He's going to be right on the bumper. And he's going to try and set up to make a pass here to driver's right. The 70 of Darren Treacle, many-time race winner here. Looking to get back up towards those top 3 drivers. Into fourth now. He'll take the spot away from Pavolano. He's going to try and fight back alongside. Not quite there, but gets to the bumper again. And then another stretch. And he's going to peek out now. Driver's left uses that slipstream. And he'll try and pull him back a little bit with the arrow. Dumping that onto the spoiler. And he will have the advantage for the moment. That's impressive, even with the nose damage on that car. And he's going to actually take the spot right back. So Pavolano takes fourth position. Those two swapping back and forth, though, cost them some time. Brian Kennedy putting a really great pace on, but here comes Ficacci now into the picture. 0.2. It's 1 car length, realistically. He might have a shot at making the pass here into the next braking zone. And they are side by side down into the corner here. Nobody really lifting. Looks like Brian Kennedy a little bit softer there into the turn. And it will be Steve Ficacci taking the top spot now. Racing through the forests here. Always a cool sight to see at this racetrack. One of the most historic racing venues in all the world. And it is Steve Ficacci and Brian Kennedy doing battle here 10 minutes in. Deep into the corner. There goes Kennedy. He'll take the lead right back. And he's going to get in the sand a little bit. That might open the door for Ficacci. No, not going to take advantage. Not close enough. The more these two battle, that'll bring DeCoucher right into the picture as well. Quietly having himself a fantastic race here, running in third. And the leaders, man, they are going at it here. Brian Kennedy, he has got a mirror full of Steve Ficacci. He knows he can't let him get away. Ficacci's so good when he gets that clean air. We have seen races where he takes the lead and just drives away. Brian Kennedy doing everything he can to hold him back here and maybe even bring in that 2 machine into the picture. Ryan Kennedy hangs on here as they work up over the curbs. He still maintains the race lead across the stripe here to complete lap number 3. That is how long the laps are. This event only going to be about 11 laps long in 40 minutes. Here we go. Fakachi peaks driver's right. He'll take the lead away into turn number 1. Ryan Kennedy can't do anything about it. He'll just sit in the tire tracks of the 00. Ryan pulling back here on the Mulsanne straight. DeKusher is creeping into the picture a little bit. Not faster than Fakachi, but I think a little bit quicker than Brian Kennedy that lap. The gap already 0.7 of a second. I think the rest of the field has to hope that Steve Fakachi is not going to be able to hold the lead here this entire lap, and Brian Kennedy can catch back up to him. He's already gaining about a 0.5 now. Look for other battles around the racetrack. Dean Tulin closing in on Michael Pavolano, who's struggling now with the damage on that race car. Justin Craig, Matthew Gazenda, about 54 seconds behind your race leader. 16th, 17th position. Those two starting to close up on one another. Keep an eye on Tulin, though, in the SEO Mike machine. Having a solid race here, qualified 7th, running in 6th, and he is closing up. Just now about 4 car lengths between these two. Behind them, Callan Crocker not too far off in the distance. Out in front still Fakachi, but Brian Kennedy's cut it now down to about a 0.5 second. Jonathan DeKusher not losing any time to those guys, but here we go, side by side. Crocker, Tulin. Obviously, Dean did not get a great run out of that last chicane, and now Callan Crocker going to take advantage. He'll get to 6th. Next in line for him is going to be Michael Pavolano. Entertaining stuff so far. Now battle for the race lead. Brian Kennedy is there. Gets up on the curb just a little bit. That would be a dangerous spot to make contact. He's not able to complete the pass. It is still Steve Fakachi, but the more that those two fight, the closer that 2 machine gets. He is very quick, just as fast as these top 2. Don't count out Darren Treacle. He was up in front for a little bit there, lost some ground, and he is starting to close back in. Mr. Consistency in that 70 machine. That is his motto there. Wants to be there at the end. That's all that matters, as Brian Kennedy doing everything he can to try and close up as they race through these tight corners. For other battles, need to, oh boy, that is Jonathan DeKusher around. Just as we had the camera switching off of him, he goes for a slide, saves it though. That'll cost him 3rd position to Darren Treacle. Dean Tulin, look at this battle. Starting to close back up. Michael Pavolano. Callan Crocker's gotten around the 1 machine, so this is 5th, 6th, and 7th, all within about 5 car lengths. Those guys having a good old fight right there. Justin Craig and Matthew Gazenda still about 0.6 apart farther back in the field. That's the next closest battle on the racetrack. Brian Kennedy's lost quite a bit of ground now. 2.1 seconds behind your race leader. So Steve Fakachi's got quite a bit of breathing room. And he surely wanted to see that. About 16 minutes now into this race. Keep an eye on this battle here for these 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. On board with Michael Pavolano right now as he tries to close up on Callan Crocker. He'll be close enough to get the draft here. But he does have that nose damage, so it's kind of equal, I would say. He might gain a little bit before they get to the chicane. Got Kim closing up on Aspen Belvin. That is 9th and 10th. Scott still running in the top 10. Good, solid race for him. You know that he really liked the GT4 cars that we were running last season. He had some really good races in those cars. And he's learned a lot from what I can see, and definitely picking up the pace here in the GTE machines. So it was good to see progress and guys learning and improving. Things pretty well separated at the moment here. We'll be coming to pit stops, I think, in just a couple of laps. Or probably about one lap, actually. That'll be right past the halfway point. Fikachi might even bring it in this time. Aaron Treacle, 7.5 seconds back. He is now not gaining any more ground. Brian Kennedy is losing touch with Fikachi, who's just driving away, starting to dominate like we've become accustomed to seeing from the 00. Tulane still not far behind Michael Pavlano. And this race just about not making mistakes. Being there, being smooth and consistent. Dean Tulane, also kind of his MO. He's right where he started in 7th position. Adam Pohl trying to recover after his early mistake. He's back up to 8th right now after falling quite a ways back. Started in 5th, and he is definitely putting down some fast laps here. He should be able to close in on these next few. Try and get himself back to the top 5. Keep an eye on the race leader, though. See if anybody starts making pit stops. Colin Kortnick brought it in 3 laps ago. Matthew Gazenda just brought it in for a 12.5 second stop. And Mike Nickham also brought it in 1 lap ago. But Fikachi... nope, not going to bring it in this time as he works back into the left-right combo and then another left-right. Race leader up by 3.5 seconds. I am taking a look here. Nobody in the top 5 electing to bring it in yet. Oh, and there is Dean Tulane. He's going to pull it on the pit road here. He's going to be our first taker of the top 10 drivers. So a little bit alternating strategy there. He's got some damage. Going to try and clean that up, I think. And as we approach the 20-minute mark, we're going to go to our halfway break. We'll be right back. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV area. Check out their lineup of unique IPAs, lagers, sours, stouts, and even seltzers. Savory and delicious empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are now available in their tap room. For all things Beltway, go to beltwaybrewco.com and follow at Beltway Brew Co. on social media. SEO Mike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEO Mike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEO Mike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. Here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
A punch for the 33. 2
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins in Auto Club.
Back at the racetrack, Steve Ficacci, still your race leader. They have just made their way back around, going to be headed towards pit lane probably this time. We did see Dean Tulane bring it in. Aaron Dietrich just brought it in last lap as well. He falls to 16th through the cycle at the moment. But the leaders all have to come in yet for their final stop, their only stop. And they should be doing that here either this lap or next lap. The lap time's really not falling off much. Steve Ficacci only about 3/10 off his quickest lap of the race and really pushing the issue right now. You can see he is driving that car as hard as he can. Brian Kennedy, nice solid start to this race after rolling off second, led a few laps and still running in second. Can't make any mistakes on this pit stop though. Here comes Ficacci onto pit lane. Bring it in from the race lead. We'll see who joins him here. It looks like Brian Kennedy will, and it looks like Darren Treacle with problems. Gonna miss part of the pit lane. That should be a penalty, I believe. Callan Crocker, Pabolano, Adam Pohl. Aspen Belvin will bring it in. How about Scott Kim? Does he stay out? Oh, he will bring it in. And there goes Aspen Belvin around the 3. Good wrench machine, actually the number 11. As he flashes the lights, Scott Kim behind him has to check up. Peter Lanik also overshoots the entry. So all these issues for drivers here. Matthew Stover still making his way around, yet a distance from pit road. Steve Ficacci into his stall, out of his stall. And back out onto the racetrack. Brian Kennedy also back up to speed now. And it'll be Jonathan DeKusher who gets out of pit road third. Darren Treacle in the 4th position. Actually, he is going to have a penalty, so he's going to lose a lot of time. It'll be Michael Pabolano who gets a clean nose on that race car, I believe, using the fast repair that's provided to these drivers. Callan Crocker into 5th. Dean Tulane, this battle resuming right where they left off. 15 minutes left in the race. Still a lot of time to make mistakes, but Steve Ficacci, he had a flawless pit stop there, a 1.5 quicker than anybody else through the pit road cycle. He is currently out in front by 7.5 seconds, and he can just bide his time here. I mean, he's gonna have to lose a lot of time the next only 4 laps of this race. So far, he has been flawless. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the broadcast so far. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can check us out on Facebook as well. This is where we are broadcasting here tonight. See the links right there. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter is where we announce the races for each and every broadcast. You can find out when we're going live. Make sure to follow us on those different platforms to stay up to date with what we're doing. Some big news for Tuesday nights. A lot of new faces joining the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, or Premier Series rather. So that league going to get even more competitive than it already is. And man, what a season it's been there for the first 7 races. 6 different winners. As Keith Mayato leads the point standings over there. But Steve Ficacci, he's trying to set himself atop the point standings here tonight. He dominates this race. Let's take a look at your drivers tonight and run through the field. It's going to be Steve Ficacci, started in the 4th position, running out in front, 4 laps led. Let's go to second place. Brian Kennedy, who has led 2 laps here tonight, started second, running second. Jonathan DeCoucher started third, running third. Michael Pabolano started sixth, running in fourth, even after the issue there with the nose damage. And how about this? 3 cars under a blanket. Dean Tulien, Callan Crocker. Dean up 2 spots into 5th. Callan Crocker in 6th after starting 16th, one of the biggest movers. Adam Pohl starting to make his way back forward, now up to 7th, and he is right there in the mix after starting in the 5th position. Scott Kim in 8th after, not seeing his real pit time, but a very good sequence on pit road. He's up to 8th position after starting 11th. Aaron Dietrich in the 9th position after starting in 8th. Darren Treacle in the 10th spot after starting on the pole, but the issue on pit road there. Matthew Stover running 11th after starting 20th. Big mover there. Jesse Brannon up 2 spots. Aspen Belvin currently in 13th after starting in 10th. Justin Craig 14th after starting in 17th. Alan Kortnick 15th after starting 12th. Matthew Gazenda 16th after starting 13th. Nick Owen 17th after starting 19th. Peter Lanik started 9th all the way back to 18th after the lap 1, or actually the start incident there. Mike Nickham in 19th after starting in 18th, and then Perry Duncan is behind the wall after starting in 15th. But looking for battles on the racetrack, it's really just this group here. Crossing the stripe right there, Tulien, Crocker, and Pohl, 5th, 6th, 7th. You could even throw Michael Pavolano about a second and a half up in front of them into that mix, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. That is the battle to watch. The leader, Steve Ficacci, out in front by over 8 seconds. Brian Kennedy, nothing for him at the moment. Last pit sequence on and off pit road, the in and out lap, he was 3 seconds slower than Steve Ficacci. The next closest to Ficacci was actually Adam Pohl, who's made up a ton of ground here. He will have a shot, I think, at a pass here. We'll go on board with him. He's going to take a look to drivers left on Callan Crocker. Crocker will just give it to him. There goes Pohl right on by. He'll take 6th position away, continuing to march his way back through the field. The driver that we'd expect to be battling for a podium finish, but with early issues in this one after spinning it off the final corner. Tulien with a great run. He's closed up now, and Michael Pavolano, he looks drivers left. Gonna try and take 4th spot away. Tulien, Dean having a great race here as they work into the next chicane. He'll dive into the corner, and he will take the spot away. Dean Tulien up to 4th. Michael Pavolano falls to 5th now. Probably just being a bit conservative on those tires. We saw he was better at the end of the run, even with the damage. 10 minutes left in this one. It is all Steve Ficacci. Here comes Adam Pohl now. Big move. Looks to driver's right. He'll back out of it, though. No room to make the move. He does force a mistake, though, from Pavolano, and he is through for the 5th spot. Nice little tactic there from Adam Pohl. And really good racing here in this top 5 to top 10 all night long. This has been the battle to watch. The leaders obviously had their battle at the start of this race, but man, that is a fun corner to watch them go through. Callan Crocker got to see all those guys right in front of him with all that air on their nose. And how about this? Adam Pohl now looking to take advantage of Dean Tulien here. 84 goes wide. Here comes Pohl. Going to try and take 4th spot away. He'll nose forward. And he will clear. Now Adam Pohl up to 4th. In the matter of just a half a lap, he has gained 3 positions up from the back of this row of cars to the lead. So he has got some good speed. That 15 machine, about 10 seconds back from Jonathan DeCoucher. Seems like he'll probably end up in the 4th spot here. DeCoucher Just needs to have a nice solid last couple of laps. Meanwhile, Steve Ficacci doing Steve Ficacci things out in front. 7.6 seconds up the road. Going back to this battle. Off the track goes Dean Tooley. Oh, man, another commentator curse in the final corner of the track. But he have a little contact there. The car does appear to be damaged on the right side. Let's see if he got into some trouble here. Might have been a big run up over the... Oh, that's what the damage is. Big hit on the curb. And that bent the right front of the nose. And set him back to 7th now, about 3.5 seconds out of that battle. Forward here with Callan Crocker, up 10 positions. Probably going to be driver of the day. Especially if he can come away with a top 5. He's got to close up on Michael Pavolano. And he does close up just a little bit there into the chicane. Dean Tooley going to try and close up Kyle Crocker. I think a little issue getting the power back down there. He lost a car length or two. Go back a little bit farther. Scott Kim all by himself. He's got 14 seconds to catch Dean Tooley, and then he's 9 seconds in front of Aaron Dietrich. You can see the damage on the nose of the mustache machine. But he's having a nice, solid race. 8th position for Scott Kim. I'm very impressed. And he will be surely happy to get a nice top 10 out of this opening race. Peter Lanik has brought it to pit road. Maybe calling it a night. Mike Nickum back here as well. Not the way he wanted to start the season, I'm sure. He's currently out of the points, and he's 15 seconds behind Justin Craig, last one in the points tonight. 6 minutes left, still plenty of time for mistakes. Like I've said, it just takes one corner at this place, and there are 38 of them. And a pretty entertaining one, especially in that mid-pack. They're still going at it. Crocker, Pavolano, 5th and 6th. Here we go. The 3 machine peaks to driver's right. He will clear Pavolano into the high-speed left or right-hander there. Back to the left they go. Alan Crocker now into the top 5. What a race he is having here. This set the precedent for him for the rest of the season, you would have to hope. That's what he's looking forward to. He's lost a little bit of time to Adam Pohl. It's about 2.6 seconds between those two drivers. Pohl trying to track down DeKusher. He's closed in 3 seconds. Don't count out Adam Pohl from a podium finish. He's got a couple more laps to go. The car very reminiscent of the race leader in terms of paint scheme. Those two, the fastest cars on track by a good amount. Brian Kennedy has been very solid as well. He's not really losing much time. Steve Ficacci, he just lost a lot in the beginning of this second run here with the pit cycle. You have to think that... Man, he wish he could have held him off maybe another lap or so and give himself a better chance to win this one. But 4 minutes left. It is all but over for Steve Ficacci. Brian Kennedy, though, a good way to open title defense as he won last season's championship. Jonathan DeKusher making his return. I know he only ran a handful of races in the last season, so good to see him back. He'll surely take a podium here if he can hang on to it for the next 2 laps. for battles. Poblano and Crocker, these two just will not quit. It is nose to tail for 5th and 6th. Expect to see Michael Poblano maybe make a move here. Look at the run that he has got right now, 5 or 6 miles an hour faster, but he is not going to take that chance into the chicane here. They downshift. Oh man, I don't know what just happened there. He lost a lot of ground. Maybe he had to serve a little time penalty and he just did it right there. Or maybe he has got a problem. He lost a ton of ground. He lost almost 2 seconds right there. Not what he wanted to see. At this point in the race, that was his opportunity, I think, to make a pass there, or at least keep Crocker right there next to him. No real battles. That would be the closest one between Callan Crocker and Michael Poblano, but it's now opened up to a 2-second margin. Vicacci out in front. Brian Kennedy almost an entire short straightaway behind him. 10 seconds now, the gap. Jonathan DeKucher slowly creeping in. Could he get there before the end of the race? They're going to be coming back to the white flag this next time as Vicacci just, about 10 corners, I think, left in this lap. And this is the difference here. I mean, these guys making some great time. That's the difference between first and second. It is a long ways. 10 seconds in a race car. Might as well be an eternity. Steve Vicacci's got this place down tonight. I mean, the camera's going to change before we even see Brian Kennedy. There's Brian. DeKucher is going to be closing in. You can see him just peek into the picture. That's second and third. Then Adam Pohl will be coming around the corner here in just a moment as well. You can see him just peek out. Don't count out Michael Poblano from getting up to 5th position again. Gets a little piece of the dirt right there, and he is closing back up. He's gained about 7/10 on Callan Crocker here. This half of a lap, so that is very impressive after losing all that ground. He is right back in the mix here, and it's going to come down to the wire between those two for a top 5 in this race, as Steve Vicacci on his final lap along with a handful of others. White flag is going to be thrown here. As the clock ticks down, this will show the white flag once it gets to 0. Brian Kennedy just going to try and hang on for second. He's lost quite a bit of ground here the last few laps. Jonathan DeKucher is closed up a lot, but I think he's going to still be well far behind Adam Pohl. In that 4th position, has not been able to make any inroads to the podium other than getting up to 4th position. That's all that he was able to do. Michael Poblano still about a 1.5 seconds behind Callan Crocker. But they're coming onto the Mulsanne straight here. He is got to get a little bit closer. They're on the Mulsanne straight now. He might just be able to pull a little draft. He might be too far out of it. Let's see here. I'm watching the time. It is starting to... No, it's staying dead even right now. Those guys are going the exact same speed. Poblano not closing in. No draft available to him, so he's going to have a great run through the chicane. Have to really try and close up a couple of tenths here if he wants any opportunity. He had a nice run in, but just overcharged it a little bit. End up balancing out just a little bit, but he has a hint of draft, I think, at this point. Had an issue with one of the shifts right there, it looks like, so he ends up right exactly where they were in terms of margin. Wow, Steve Vicacci, he gets off of the Mulsanne straight. Brian Kennedy, 12 seconds behind him, will be the next one to do so for the final time this race. We'll keep an eye on that 5th and 6th place battle, see if anything happens there or any other battles on the racetrack. Looks like Matthew Stover's taking it to pit road here. He'll lose a spot as Gazenda goes on by. Oh, Michael Pavolano off in the dirt. That will be his shot over with. To get back into the top 5 as that gap now creeps up to 2 seconds. How much, what can you say about the 00? Steve Ficacci started 4th, and he was putting pressure on there on the top 3 after the first lap, and nobody could hold him back. He was going to be unstoppable here tonight, and 8 laps led. Going to be coming to 9 out of the 11 that we have run here this evening. Gap all the way up to 14 seconds now as Brian Kennedy just trying to maintain 2nd position with no mistakes. Steve Ficacci, here he comes. Just a few more corners to win the opening race of the season. Left, right, and then left, right again. Through the final corner from Le Mans, it's going to be Steve Ficacci winning the opening race in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing Fall season. Ryan Kennedy, great race from him as well in the 2nd position. He'll come home just 1 spot off the victory. Jonathan DeCusher, what a race from him. 3rd place basically the entire time. A great job to get a podium finish. Adam Pohl, he'll come home in the 4th position, recovering nicely from the spin early on in this one. And Callan Crocker going to hold off Michael Pavolano for a top 5. He'll get driver of the day. Pavolano 6th, Dean Tooling 7th, Scott Kim. Great race from him. Really fantastic effort in this first one to start 11th. With all of that nose damage, he's still going to come home. Assuming he makes it through the final couple of corners, he'll finish in the 8th position, the Mustache Machine. One of the best performances we've seen from him in a while. Aaron Dietrich will come home in 9th. Darren Treacle able to round out the top 10 even with his pit road woes. It'll be Aspen Belvin, Jesse Brannon, Colin Kortnick, Justin Craig, Nick Owen, Matthew Gazenda, Matthew Stover, and Mike Nickum. But let's go back to Steve Ficacci. See if we can pull him in here for an interview straight away after tonight's race. So congratulations to Steve Ficacci. What a win from him. See if we can pull him up into the booth right away here. The opening race of the season. You know what? I do not see Steve in here just yet, but he is your race winner. I think Jonathan DeCusher possibly. He is in here. Hey, Jonathan, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you start 3rd, you finish 3rd. You were just as competitive as those top 2. Just lost a little bit of ground to them. But, man, great performance here in the opening race of the season. How do you feel?
I thought it was Verstappen out there that I could spin it and win it, but I don't have that skill set, I guess. A couple small mistakes that kept me from further up on the podium. I got a few slowdowns. I had to spin out. And I think I put half a gallon too much, 3/4 of a gallon too much of fuel in the car. But, you know, I took the last part of the season off last season. So to start this way this season is awesome.
It's definitely a really strong way to start. We go to Mid-Ohio next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I love the lineup this season. I love tracks with walls. Not that I'm good at them. It keeps everybody fair. You can't run off. So really looking forward to pretty much everything on the schedule.
Yeah, it's definitely a really awesome schedule. A lot of my favorite tracks. A lot of different ones that we haven't run on the broadcast here. So looking forward to it. But great way to open up the season with a 3rd place finish. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Nope. I just congrats to Steve, man. Great race. And also Brian. Great pace, guys.
All right, John. Well, thanks so much for joining us in the booth here, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, that is Jonathan DeCusher. Now we're going to go to 2nd place finisher. That is going to be Brian Kennedy. Get a nice visual of his race car here. That is Brian Kennedy, last season's champion. We'll pull him into the booth. Brian Kennedy, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
Yes, I do.
Well, Brian, you led a few laps here. You were racing hard there with Steve Ficacci for a few laps as well. What a battle between you two, but ultimately come home second tonight. Great way to start the season. How are you feeling about tonight's race?
Oh, I'm very happy. You know, tough competition between Steve and Darren had pace, but I think he must have had some slowdown penalties, and then Jonathan had great pace too. So very happy. And I wish I could have raced Steve longer, but yeah, I kind of made a mistake and didn't brake early enough. Had to avoid him, and then I lost the draft, and he just kept on going. Couldn't catch up.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys were pretty close on pace, and I was saying you probably would have liked to held him back for at least another lap before you guys got to the pit stops there. But definitely a strong performance. We go to Mid Ohio next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Yeah, I like that track. It's the opposite of this one, with a lot of tight turns, elevation change, and delicate throttle control. So yeah, it's a fun track. A little harder to pass on for sure.
Yeah, especially on these road racing machines. I know that the majority of my experience watching races there, it's actually been NASCAR stuff, and those guys they get by each other with a little bit of muscling out of the way. But I know
Yeah.
you're a little bit more precise in how you want to get through here. So, anyways, what a race! What a way to start the season for you. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for second place?
Yeah, shout out to the sponsors, SEO Mike and Beltway Brewing Company. Those guys are awesome. Appreciate it. Shout out to V-Speed. Glad to have you back for another season. You guys do a great broadcast, so looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, tonight, very entertaining race, especially the mid-pack. Those guys were all going at it, but
Oh, cool.
great way to start the season here, Brian, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, see you next week.
You. That is Steve, or that was Brian Kennedy. Now we're going to go to the race winner. That is going to be Steve Ficacci. Steve Ficacci, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
I do. How are you?
Hey, not too bad, man. You must be feeling pretty good about yourself here tonight. Dominating performance here from Le Mans to open the season. Just describe that race for us.
Well, I wasn't really planning on doing it. I just happened to see that the race was at Le Mans, and I really like this track, so I was like, you know what, let's jump in and see how it goes. Didn't quite get the laps together during qualifying. I mean, all the guys put in really, really good laps, so cool for them. I didn't have that kind of pace. I don't know if it was draft or what, but I couldn't go that fast, so I kind of set into the mindset I was just going to kind of be slow and steady and see where I ended up and kind of hope to outlast everybody. I know I think it was Brian Kennedy. It was Brian Kennedy in front of me, but I think he had a slowdown just behind me, and that kind of was able to give me a little separation before the pit stop. And silly me, I thought it was I thought the race was a 20-minute setup like last season, and it wasn't. So I had to figure out the pit stop quick and kind of wing it on fuel. I ended up taking a bit too much. But yeah, after that it was kind of smooth sailing. I think Brian must have had some issues with slowdowns or something, because he lost a few chunks of time here and there, which he didn't do in the first half of the race. So that's my only explanation for it anyway.
Yeah, you guys had a great battle there for quite a few laps. You were on his bumper and he was fighting back, took the lead away again. And a really entertaining battle between you two. So great way to start the season with the victory. We go to Mid-Ohio next week. Quite a bit different from here. But how do you feel about going out there?
Mid-Ohio's good. I like Mid-Ohio. I've run it a bit, but I don't have a ton of laps there, but I seem to do well whenever I do go there. So yeah, it's a good one. I think a bunch of like really technical corners, which I seem to do a little bit better at. Like when the corners flow from one to the next, you can't be making mistakes, and I seem to do a little bit better on circuits like that. So it's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you competing for another win out there next week. But you get the victory in dominating fashion here tonight to open things off for the fall season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I missed last season. We spent a lot of time with my 3 kids and did some racing in the real world, and I need to thank my wife for that. It took a lot of time, and we spent a lot of money doing it, but it was a great time, and I look forward to maybe doing a little bit more next year. But yeah, so I just need to thank my wife tonight, and that's going to be it.
Awesome, Steve. Well, congrats on a fantastic victory here to kick things off for us this fall season. Go celebrate, and we will catch you next week at Mid-Ohio.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is Steve Ficacci, your race winner here tonight. We're going to go now to Calvin Crocker, who's going to be your driver of the day tonight from Le Mans, and we'll see if we can pull him into the booth. Calvin Crocker, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Adam, how's it going, man?
Hey, not too bad. You had a fantastic race here to kick things off this season. Voted driver of the day. So 11 positions gained in this race. It wasn't always easy. You were kind of caught in a big battle there with Pobolano and Tulin. Just describe this race for us and that battle between those guys.
Yeah, I was totally shocked because I think I was, started P16 or something like that. I was just way off pace. Didn't know the track nearly as well. Need to start practicing with some of these guys the days before. But yeah, I think I just got lucky on a couple of passes, like right in the beginning. I think I had 2 or 3 spots just from the start. And then the draft here is really strong, so I was able to leverage that. And luckily, I was kind of able to keep up with that front pack a little bit, and then just started picking them off. It was a great race, super clean. I don't know that I had any major incidents or anything, which is pretty unusual for me. So, yep, great start to the season.
Yeah, you come home with a nice solid top 5 finish and some momentum to take into next week's race at Mid-Ohio. How do you feel about going out there?
Never been, so we'll see how it goes. I think I definitely need to get on the rig a day or 2 early to try to get some testing and stuff in. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Definitely a great performance. So I'm sure you'll get the hang of that one. It's a fun little track, definitely a fun road course. So I'm sure we'll see you competing for another top 5 next week as well. But 11 positions gained here at Le Mans tonight to open up the season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, all the normal folks, the people that put this on, you guys and at V-Speed, really appreciate that. All my Hang Loose family, Justin Craig's mom, she's fantastic for watching every week. She's one of our dedicated watchers for the league, so we really appreciate that. And my girlfriend for always supporting me and all my crazy adventures in racing. So
Awesome, Callan. Well, thank you to Justin's mom as well. Then, as she tunes into the races, that's awesome that she supports you guys in that way. And great job out there. And looking forward to next week.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Take care, man.
You too.
All right, bye.
That is Callan Crocker. Comes home 5th position and driver of the day. He was able to hold off Michael Pobolano. You see in the mirror there behind him. Let's take a look at the rest of the results here tonight from Le Mans in the opening race of the season. Only one lead change. That was between Brian Kennedy and Steve Ficacci, who ultimately drove away in dominating fashion to take the victory. Brian Kennedy comes home 2nd. Jonathan DeCusher will finish in the 3rd spot. 4th position tonight was Adam Pohl after a nice recovery there. 5th was Callan Crocker, just talked to him, driver of the day. Michael Pobolano, solid run, comes home 6th. Ian Tulin finishes 7th. Scott Kim 8th. Aaron Dietrich 9th. Darren Treacle, after his pit road issues, comes home in the 10th spot. 11th was Aspen Belvin. 12th, Jesse Brandon. 13th, Colin Kortnick. 14th was Justin Craig. 15th was Nick Owen. 16th, Matthew Gazenda. 17th, Matthew Stover. 18th, Mike Nickham. 19th, Peter Lanik. And Perry Duncan round out the 20 drivers in the field tonight. I want to thank you so much for tuning in here on V-Speed to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. We'll be back with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series on Tuesday from Las Vegas. We'll be back with these guys next Thursday from Mid-Ohio. Make sure to follow us right here on YouTube, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find us to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. We do want to thank you so much for tuning in and hope you enjoyed. Have a great night.